And welcome to another teacher talk session tonight. And tonight we are having our 211th session with Chief Educational Neuroscientist at Neurocomb25 Lab, Aleksandra Halchenko. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. I'm waiting for her to join, and we will have a very interesting and fruitful session with her. There she is, I think. Yes, she's here. Let me invite her to join the session part. Sometimes it takes a little bit to join the live session, but it's about the Instagram. There's a problem and still they cannot fix it, I think. Yes, I have invited her and she is also invited. Thank you, Azra. Yeah, we had a very bad situation yesterday about the earthquake. And I think so far, 10 buildings collapsed. We're really sorry, and God bless them, and we won't have any more dead bodies or injured bodies under the buildings. God bless them. Anyway, there
Hello.
she goes. Hello.
Hello, Hojam. Hello,
Yes.
welcome,
Hello.
Hojam.
Hi, Alexander.
Give
It's
me a
great
sec.
to see you.
The technology. I'm trying to install the
Sure, no
equipment
problem.
for you to see me well because it's a bit shaky. I don't know why. Just give me a second.
We are
I
waiting.
think it's
Take your time.
yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
fine now. Yeah, you can see me. You
Sure,
can
this
hear
is
me well.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
great. So
So
I
Hojam,
just
you
want to say,
are. I just. I'm so happy to be here because I've been a follower of all your teacher talks.
thank
And
you.
yes, you are a legend in Turkey. So
No,
thank you for your
thank you.
invitation.
You are
You're
welcome, Alexander.
absolutely gözümüz aydın in
Thank you.
Turkish.
Yeah,
It's not
thank you.
translatable.
I know. But by the way, your Turkish is really good, I think. You also can speak Turkish, I think.
Yes, I can. Yes, that's a little bit a secret of mine. But
Okay.
actually,
So let's keep it secret.
yes, yeah, let's give it as a secret, Hocam. And first of all, I wanted to express my support to those affected by the earthquake, deprem
Thank you.
in
Thank you.
Balıkesir. So my heart goes to all the families in this difficult time. Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's not a nice start, but yeah.
exactly. I know. We are all really sad and we really, we were afraid of about the things that happening here and we are really sad. God bless them and then we are hoping not to have a lot of, injured or dead bodies under the collapse building. I hope we won't have the same situation again in the future. God bless all of us.
Yeah, inshallah, Hocam.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Oh, okay. So, Alexandra, I know that you are very busy and working hard, so I don't want to take a lot of time. So if you're ready,
Hocam,
by the
the night is young,
way,
so I'm
you're
not
right.
busy.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
You're
I
right.
got you,
You're right.
got you.
But before starting it, I just want to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation and being with us here for Teacher Talk session 211th session, which is a really great number for us. And you are our guest tonight.
11, Hocam.
Okay.
I was born on the 11th of January.
Yes.
Today is the 11th of August, and this is
Ah,
the
very nice.
session number 211.
11, exactly. What can we say about it? It's a kind of a coincidence.
Yes, ne güzel bir tesadüf.
Exactly, ne güzel one. Great one. All right. So I know about you, Alexandra, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you because you have a very huge introduction, I'm sure that. Can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences?
Yes, hocam. So I will try to keep it as brief as possible. I come
Sure.
from education myself. I have over 20 years of experience as a teacher. I'm not that old. I just started teaching when I was 13, 14. And I think I was even teaching when I was very little, like teaching to the dolls. So I'm a teacher from inside out. And then, we will talk about the turning points later, yeah, because that's your
Sure.
favorite question.
Yes.
I've learned all the questions by heart.
Great.
What's
Great.
the
I'm really
turning
happy to
point?
hear it.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll get there. And I'm a neuroscientist. An educational neuroscientist. This is important to notice because we are
Perfect.
translating the current evidence from neuroscience into practical applications in education. So basically, this is cognitive neuroscience. And I run a lab, a Neurocomb25 Lab. We call ourselves a cord of three strands to reform education, which is
Yes.
neuroscience, happiness studies, and future studies. Why so? In psychology, we have the trilogy of mind. So, hocam, our rational faculty, our attention, learning is always in the three, so to speak, let's call it strands. Yeah, the
I
three
see.
modes of being. So we have cognition, which is thinking. We have affection, which is feeling, and we also have conation. So don't be afraid of this word, conation. Yeah,
Okay.
conation. It means it's about the future, and it means your will. So
Mm-hmm.
what you are thriving for, your intention. All right. So we have these three
Sure.
faculties of mind, and we have pioneered the trilogy of education, which taps into all these three, because usually psychologists, they either study cognition or Martin Seligman, we will talk about him later. I
Sure.
had the wonderful opportunity to spend the dinner with him, and I come from happiness studies, and my teacher and mentor is Tal Ben Shachar. He's the founder of the field of happiness studies, and he's a student
Exactly.
of Martin Seligman. He has been a professor of cognitive psychology at Harvard for a long time, for 20 years, I think, as well. So
I see.
psychologists starting from Freud have been concentrating only on cognition, on thinking. This is the German school. And then Martin Seligman in the 90s, he started talking about affection, about the feelings, and he pioneered the field of positive psychology. And also Martin Seligman, and that was in Mexico City last year when we had the inaugural conference devoted to his work. He talked about Homo prospectus, which
I
means
see.
the person of the future. And there is a book that he co-authored with some other philosophers, very renowned philosophers. That's shame on me that I can't remember their names now, but you can Google that. It's called Homo Prospectus, which talks about that psychology is also related to the future. And
Future.
what
I
we
see.
did in Neurocomb25, we have pioneered the trilogy of education, which is
I see.
neuroscience for cognition, happiness studies for affection, and future studies for conation, for the will, for the future. So, and that's the work that we have been doing. It is based on all these three columns of psychology. So that's in short
I
about
see.
myself. And Hojam, some interesting facts. I started my career in Turkey, yeah.
Oh, very
So
nice.
I landed, yes, when I was a very young teacher. I was experienced already, but I landed a very, very good job at Ibn Khaldun University. And this is where my career in lecturing started. And I also worked for Tom Godfrey, for
Wow.
ITI, for a while
Nice.
as a teacher trainer, yeah, for secondary and primary courses. So I lived in Turkey. That was an amazing experience of my life. I love Turkish culture. I miss Turkey is my second home. And also, Hocam, I found out that one of my great grandmothers was Turkish during
Wow.
the First
Great.
World War. Yeah, I was thinking my nose, it has some aquiline. Yeah, and I was thinking, where does it come from? And we found out
Computers.
that she came from Ottoman Empire, to Ukraine.
Ah, I
Yeah, she
see.
got baptized, got married. So I'm actually, I have Turkish blood. And Hocam, blood is not water. Yeah.
Yes, you are right. Exactly. That's very interesting that the things that you say about it. It's really interesting about it's really great to hear it that your ancestors, I mean like yeah, they came from the Turkey to there and you have still a connection with Turkey. It's very interesting to learn about it. Great, great. But now you're in
I'm in the United Kingdom.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
in you're in
yes, yes,
Kingdom.
yes. Yeah, I live in the UK, so I live in Edinburgh and in London. So my family home is in Scotland, in Edinburgh, but I
Wow.
studied in London, yeah, and I also run my business from London.
Wonderful,
But
wonderful.
currently,
Great.
I'm in Edinburgh, and it's very, very dark outside, very gloomy and rainy as usual.
I see, I see. Yeah, I probably you used to there about the rainy weather. Not like in Turkey. Here is very hot. We are burning here. That's
Yeah.
really okay. I see. Thank you for the information about yourself, Alexandra. Would you like to add anything else, or can I move to another question?
Yeah, Hocam, that's to make a long story short, and we will try to uncover layers as we
Sure.
are
All right
moving
then.
on in the
So,
conversation.
okay. Let's move to the next question then, which is your favorite, I think one of my favorite questions. So, Alexander Jam, so can you tell us what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
I've
Yes,
been waiting for this question.
you
Yeah,
have the
Hocam,
microphone, so go ahead.
yeah, it's a turning point indeed, because I've been turning around all the time. My personality, I get bored very easily, and I'm always looking for new methods. When I was a teacher, I was looking for new methods of teaching, teacher training, and this is what brought me to neuroscience. And currently, I'm combining that experience in my life of the researcher. So I remember actually the turning point was when the biggest turning point, I had many of them, but the biggest one was when I was 14 and I just wanted to make some pocket money. And I was learning foreign languages myself at the time. I was learning English and German. So my first language is Ukrainian, Russian is my second one, and English was my third, German was my fourth, and then I was learning Japanese was my fifth. Then at
Wow.
uni, Spanish was my sixth, but I can't speak Spanish. I never liked it. I don't know why actually. But yeah, so I was, learning languages and I wanted to make some pocket money. And I decided to actually give some tutorials, some private classes to the neighbors, to the son of the neighbors. And this is how it started. And I remember like the son of our neighbors, he's now living in Canada. He sometimes even used to cry because I was really harsh on him. He was my first student and I was a very diligent teacher.
Yeah.
But now, till now, he remembers everything that I taught him. And his mom said, like we are really grateful because he can operate in Canada with that knowledge that he got. And I was very young. I was 13, 14, a teenager myself. But Hojam, that was when I've learned the one who teaches is the one who learns.
I see.
Period. And in my work, we have the 3D. I will talk about it later. And it's very straightforward, but I don't want people to get confused. But we have our content courses for teacher training, for certification. So you take the course and you can teach it to your peers, to the teachers in your school. If you are an academic leader, you can teach it to your subordinates, to your team. Why? We have this living lab methodology, prepared workshops that you can teach it straight away, because this is the only way that you can learn. You learn only by teaching. So sometimes people, they dream, to go far. They want to have an audience. Start from teaching. Start teaching people what you know. Yeah, that's
I
how
see.
people start social networking, sort of business, and so on. They start just talking about what they know. And this is how you get better. There is no other way. It's called the protege effect. There was one German educator. I can never remember his name, but you guys can Google that as well. He called it the protege effect, and he wrote some books and papers on that you really remember when you teach. Discuss 50%.
I
50 to
see.
70%, but teaching is 90% of retention. Nothing works better. And this is how I've learned languages, because whenever I took up learning a foreign language, I started teaching it.
I
That's
see.
my turning point.
That
And the
is
second turning point was when I got bored from teaching. I have realized I cannot spend all my life on teaching the content, hojam, on teaching teaching languages. I was teaching literature as well, word literature. And I think it actually gave me a lot, because if you guys know Ian McGilchrist, he's a famous psychiatrist in the UK. He read literature at the University of Oxford. He's my favorite teacher. And he is like myself. He comes from literature. He comes from philology. I come from philology. I have my first degrees in philology, in literature and languages. And he also did the same. And then he became a neuroscientist. And he pioneered his work, the book called about the brain, called where is the book? Somewhere around here, always with me. Yeah, the master and the Emissary. This is one of my favorite books in the world, so I always keep it close to my heart. So why
oh.
I'm saying this? Because
Uh,
if you have the chance to read it, read it.
can you
Why
can
I'm
you repeat
saying
the
this?
name again?
Yeah, so yes, for jump. So this is Ian McGilchrist, the master and the emissary, and he's a
I see.
mystery. Yeah, so he talks about right-left brain divide, because the popular psychology calls it a myth, a neuromyth. But actually, we have our right brain, which processes life as a metaphor, which
Uh-huh.
gives you the big picture, like you take a camera and you click, oh, you see, you understand, you feel, right? And then we
Yes.
have the left brain that starts to analyze. And he also connects it to the periods in history and to the West and the East divide. Like ourselves, Hojam, we come from the East. We're people from the
You're
East.
right.
We are the right brain thinkers, right? But people in the West, they are more Western minded, so to speak. And the way he puts it is absolutely amazing. It's revolutionary. And why did it happen, Hojam? Why I started talking about him? Because he comes from literature. And
I
the main
see.
focal point that I'm trying to make is that the 21st century is the time for the polymath, for people who have different skills, who come from different backgrounds, who have multidisciplinary, but I like calling it transdisciplinary backgrounds, but because they
I
can move
see.
from one field to another. So the future belongs to these types of people. So if you really want to, push the boundaries of your field, it's good to have the diverse background. And that was my turning point, because as every human being, I had doubts. I was like, where am I going to neuroscience? I come from literature. I wrote poetry. I published my poetry collection. But my parents are actually medical doctors. So when I was little, I used to also play with the
That's very nice.
syringes and droppers. Yeah, so for me, it's a kind of mix,
Yeah, I see.
So the only way I can call myself a doctor is a PhD. But that's a good way. So that's what I'm trying to say. So these were the two turning points in my teaching, in my career. Number one, you learn when you teach. Number two, don't be shy to reinvent yourself. You can always start from scratch, and you can pioneer,
I
and
see.
you failed. And this is what, it happens only to people who have different perspectives and who can combine them together.
I got it. By the way, that's really two interesting turning point that you mentioned here with us. By the way, thank you very much. Especially the first one you mentioned here and show us about the book. That's really interesting. Really, it affects you at all about it. Thank you very much, Aleksandra. By the way, am I pronouncing correctly, Aleksandra?
Yeah, Aleksandra, like Hürrem Sultan, her
Ah, I
name was
see.
Aleksandra.
Yeah. I see. Wonderful. All right. You know, Alexandra, you said you've been teaching for a long time, and now you are dealing with the neuroscience, and probably during all your career, you have tried different technique, different methodologies, and different strategies. And at the end, I'm sure that you have a kind of a philosophy of teaching. So what is it? What is your philosophy of teaching? I'm sure
Hocam,
you have a great
nothing new here. If
one.
you want to learn, start teaching. And the best teacher is the best student.
I
The way
see.
you do one thing, you do everything. Sometimes, we sort of fall into the trap of perceiving people like, okay, this is the person from the West or native speaker. That was a very common sort of perception for the teachers in ELT. But we have to learn to perceive people holistically. Look how they look like, what they wear, how they talk, how they treat other people. Look at everything matters. The way you do one thing, you do everything. This is my work ethics. This is my life philosophy. But when it comes to teaching, is the best teacher is the best student. If
Students.
you are eager to learn, because people think they have experience. Let me tell you this. You graduated, okay, you've learned some ways of teaching. Yeah, you picked up some English from your teachers. You picked up the manner even, yeah, the way you teach.
Of course.
And you've practiced that, and you have been practicing the same thing for 20 years. This is not experience. Experience is that you graduated, you picked up, you practiced, you moved on. You gained new skills, new knowledge from a different field, from other teachers. You practice that. Of course, we are not just talking, having this superficial knowledge. Yeah, we talk
Yeah,
about the breadth of knowledge, but also the depth and also the integration, having this creativity to integrate everything that you've learned into your teaching practice. Like in your case, if you are a practicing teacher. So this
hmm
is very, very important. It's very important to understand that the world is moving. We're in
exactly.
flux. You graduated 50 years ago? No. This is not considered experience. Nobody cares about even your diplomas, your certificates. People care about the outcomes. They care about the new things happening. But I see, especially, I'm not into ELT field anymore, but I see sometimes, teachers raising the topics that have been around for million years, and sometimes you think like, stop it. There are many other more important things. It's been done, it's been researched, period.
I
Look
see.
into different directions, search for something else. to enrich your experience, to enrich your practice as a teacher.
I see. Thank you. By the way, that's really good. You mentioned really great points here about that the philosophy of really. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alexandra. All right. Would you like to add anything else, or can I move to another
I think,
question?
Hojam, I think
You
it's
can move.
clear. Yeah, who
All right.
has ears
Wonderful.
will hear.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. And as an educator and neuroscientist, you just mentioned it. Probably, you know, we all have different stories. Sometimes we have good stories. Sometimes we have bad. And sometimes, of course, we have failed ones. And of course, we always like to talk about them, our success stories. That's really a good point for all of us. And I'm sure that you have also success stories. Can you tell us one or two success stories of yours? Something inspirational. But if you would like to talk about the failed ones, you are most welcome about it. If you
Hojam,
want.
as we say in happiness studies, learn to fail or fail to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, all people at the top, people that I know, they failed more than people at the bottom. Listen, people at the top fail more than people at the bottom. And of course, they talk about it. There is no problem. And if you are in science, especially experimental science, you always fail. And that's
There.
normal. This is how you come up with new ideas and new solutions. Fail, fail,
Exactly.
fail, fail, up until you succeed. But I can say one thing here. If it is, you have to find your, as they call it, your ikigai, your purpose, your goal. Because if it's not your goal, your purpose, your real genuine purpose of life, you will
Uh-huh.
not have this stamina to stick to the outcome. Because as I think that was Mahatma Gandhi who said, at first they ignore you. That this happened to me. I went through all these stages. At first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. And the person can go through all these stages only if it is really what you were born to do. So I was born a teacher. I'm actually a trainer. The difference is the trainer is someone who likes to learn and who likes to teach. So I'm a trainer because I really love to learn and I love to teach. And my main strength is explaining things very complex, philosophical, neuroscientific aspects in a way that even the fool can understand. So
Uh,
this is my biggest strength. And I'm in the right field. I spent so much time studying neuroscience, which is a very complex subject, especially when you don't come from medicine, even if it's
mhm.
cognitive neuroscience still. And now I decided I'm gonna serve the teachers, I'm gonna serve children. This is my service, to translate these complex concepts into practical applications
I
in such
see.
a way that they can grasp it. The children can grasp it, and the teachers can fall in love with neuroscience, the science of happiness, and future studies. Because
I
all
see.
these three, they are available for people at the top, for corporates, people who work in very, very big corporations. They have been using that, and we work with them too. But the main idea is to bring it to the masses. Everyone has the right to know about knowing about neuroscience is not just knowing how the brain works. It's a
I
bit
see.
different. This is
It's a bit different.
rewiring your brain, changing your life, allowing yourself what you have not allowed to yourself before. So
Hmm.
yeah, and this is my success story. My success story is being who I am, who I was born, finding my ikigai, finding my way of being. And also, Hojam, I think everything we do is art. You should find your inner artist. The way you talk to people, people are tired of fake people, fake speakers who repeat everybody's sentences. People have these stamps that they keep repeating. Find your own vocabulary, find your own words, find yourself. and then work very hard. At first you are an artist, then you are an athlete. You work very hard. Nobody said it's going to be easy. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of
Definitely.
crying when your paper doesn't get accepted. A lot of rejection, a lot of rejection. The higher you go, the more rejection you face. And then you are an entrepreneur and you can monetize and you can help people and you can make a living out of it. But at first you are an artist. Find your own way. Don't copy somebody else's way. Find your own
Be
way.
yourself.
Number one.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. That's a really great thing to mention, and you suggest us here, Alexandra. Thank you. There is a comment. Natia, I think she mentioned in teaching, when you fail, parent attitudes and behaviors becomes unbelievably disrespectful. In some point, actually, maybe from when we think about the parents' ideas or the parents' expectations in some part of she's right, but I don't know. Would you like to add anything else to her comment?
Yeah, of course. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that. Second of all, you are treated as you treat yourself. Put your foot on the ground. Establish yourself in a way that parents feel that you are the boss, because the teacher is the boss in the classroom in a good way. You don't have to please everybody. Your job is to teach, right? So, and also you don't have to know everything. This is very normal to confess that there is something that you don't know and tell that you will double check it, especially when you are talking to the parents, and also work on your craft. You are in process, we all make mistakes while we are getting there. It's craft. Teaching is a craft, and craft requires time, requires effort, requires also hearing this feedback. And also some people think, and the teachers are very offensive. Actually, I've been in teacher training and the teachers are the hardest to give the feedback to. I had so many cases in teacher training. I've been a DOS, a director of studies here in the UK as well. And I had, teachers with autism when I didn't know that they were autistic. And, people with autism, they have specific patterns or behaviors. So everything should be pre-planned for them, well structured. And sometimes, especially when you just start, you are given an induction, it's difficult, but we are trying. But I didn't know that teacher was autistic. And I had some trouble, with the teacher had trouble with receiving the feedback. So please, please,
Oh,
please, even negative feedback, and most of all, negative feedback can help you a lot if you learn to receive it without pride. Because the teachers, we're all very proud. We thought if we graduated and we call ourselves teachers, then it means we know everything. Yeah? But be open for feedback with dignity, of course. Don't let anybody to, make you, to diminish you, yeah, to make you feel small. Never. But with dignity, say thank you and accept the feedback. I had also stories when I was working at university. The other teachers who were coordinators were, something like when you have a tip of the tongue. Everybody can have a tip of the tongue, in their native language as well. So they were like correcting your grammar or something. These people are unhappy. People who are, treating you badly, it's not because they are bad. They feel bad, If we understand this, the
that's a good
world
point.
will become a better place.
Thank you very much for the comment. Okay, so Alexandria, and so what I wanna say about it, actually about my next questions, teachers or maybe trainers or educators, we don't want to be, unsuccessful. We always want to be successful, especially in the classroom. Always we want to achieve our goals in the classroom for our students. But sometimes, of course, we cannot do it. We cannot be successful every time in the classroom. But, as an experienced one, what do you think makes a teacher or educator or trainer, whoever you want to talk about, successful in the classroom? I said classroom, but you can take it as a maybe for their life, maybe for their job. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we can talk about charisma here. Charisma is your way to make people do what you want in a good way, yeah, not in a bad way. And there are some components to the charisma, and they're also applicable in the classroom, in life, in the boardroom, everywhere. First of all, this is presence. Establish your presence. As I said, put your foot on the ground. They should understand who you are. They should feel that you are the authority. This is the presence. The second one is strength. And also presence, by the way, it also means active listening. Yeah, they should also feel that you're listening, you're paying attention. This is important as well. Then strength. They should feel that you are strong enough, that you are there, yeah, that you are the authority. And the third one, the third component of the charisma is warmth. So, having all this strength and presence and being the authority, you should also project warmth. People should feel that they are welcomed. The children feel it. The children feel that, when a mom is angry and she can scold them, but she loves them, right?
Yeah.
We know that. And the children also feel when someone doesn't love them, they just have bad moods, problems at home, and they're projecting all these, experiences into the classroom. Yeah, so I think these three components are important for working with people, yeah, especially the audience, because as a teacher, you are in the audience, you're talking to the audience, yeah, you need to do the
Definitely.
management. And
Exactly.
also, if people talk about classroom management, but first important is self-management. If you cannot manage yourself as a teacher, as a person, you can't manage classrooms. Yeah, you can't manage another person. So first, manage yourself. Google, check it out. What self-management means. What are the
Yeah,
principles?
probably
And
most of the teachers do it. No.
yeah, I'm glad that you like the metaphor.
Yeah, but that's right. What can we say about it? If we say right. So about it, especially, yeah, we always want to talk about the classroom management. What about self-management? I like it, really. Thank you. Would you like to add anything else, or can I move?
No,
Okay.
I want no, Hojam. Let the audience add. If people have some
Okay.
questions, yeah, let them add.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So let's move to another question, which is, I really wonder what is it about? What are you going to say about it? Because you are experienced about it, which is bonsai thinking. I want to ask you about this. What is this bonsai thinking, Hojam? So it's not. Don't confuse it. Okay, you can explain it because the earlier
Not
there was
bonsai,
a problem.
because you know what is bonsai, Hojam? Bonsai is a war cry. I studied Japanese
Exactly.
culture, so it's
Yeah.
like
That was
bonsai,
really,
and they start
yeah,
fighting. Yeah.
bonsai, exactly. So, can you tell us what is this bonsai thinking, and so what is it for? Yes, you have the
Hojam,
mic.
we care. My telephone is getting out of charge.
Oh,
Have time to explain. I will move. I think I can move. Just give me 1 second, okay? Because
sure,
bonsai thinking is
sure,
important. But my mic will not be, will be disconnected. But I will move next to the charger. Just give me
sure,
one.
sure. Of course, take your time.
Okay, so I will have to hold.
Oh my
Where is
God.
my stand? No,
So
just give me 1 second. I have
it
another
will be
stand
really
for my
hard
phone.
for you.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Yes, I think it's
Done.
okay, yeah? You can hear.
Yeah.
Oops, you can see me, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, I will be kneeling down on my
Oh, I
knees
see.
because it will take time to pull the chair here, so that's okay. But
Oh my
you
God.
can. see me, you can hear me, and I'm charging my phone. So yeah, bonsai thinking. The interesting thing is that that was the turning point as well, because that was the COVID raging, 2022. And I was, at that time, I was engaged and I was hoping to get married. But I couldn't. Anyways, everything is for better.
That's okay.
Yeah, and my fiance at that time, he was living in Australia. And Australia was the last country to reopen from COVID. So he was sending me a lot of gifts, flowers, and he was sending me flowers almost every day, I think. And then he started sending me bonsai trees. Because, Çiçek Sepeti couldn't, I was in Turkey at the time, and Çiçek Sepeti doesn't have any more variety.
That's right. It's a great
Variety
story.
of flowers. Yeah, so he started sending me bonsai trees, and I always, my rule is I have time to sit and reflect, reflect about the day. At that time, I was writing papers as well, in papers on education. And I started thinking that, bonsai is a huge tree. It's like a normal tree, but it is planted in the pot. And the pot actually, is a confined in space. It doesn't let the tree grow further. And I've realized that in education, the context is that pot. Education, the science of teaching, the social science, and the cognitive science of learning, they're not possible without the context. And this is how I started to develop bonsai thinking. Nobody did it before. I'm the first person. Then I saw people started copying, started writing something, but that's not it, because that's absolutely don't know anything. It took me a lot of time to study neuroscience to be able to finish off the whole thing. So I needed to study. I developed it. I presented it at the University of Oxford in 2020. And then it took me 2 years, and then 2 more years. 2 years. In 2 years, 2022, I presented it at the University of Oxford. 2024, sorry, at the conference of. Oh my gosh, what was the conference? In computer science department. That was the conference of causal cognition in humans and machines. Yeah. So I presented that twice, and then it took me 2 years after that. So 2 presentations, 2 years gap. I was thinking, working, polishing the concept, and then again 2 years. And then now it, it got the flash, so to speak. And what is bonsai thinking? There are main concepts about it. So first of all, everything is contextual. So your environment plays a big role in learning. Your cognition is embodied. You learn with your body. You don't just learn here. Yeah, you learn the people you talk to, what you see, what you hear, right? What you touch. That's why there is a new branch of neuroscience called neuroaesthetics. They explore how art affects cognition. And this is the focal point of bonsai thinking, but not only. The second part is that bonsai master decides on the aesthetic. So every master, you have to prune the leaves, you have to cut off the leaves in order to maintain the specific aesthetic, the desired aesthetic of the master. And this is what we do with unlearning. So you basically have to unlearn everything that is against your main purpose, your main goal of life. So we call it the science of unlearning. This is pruning. So and also we have learning, which is fertilizing and which is watering. Yeah. So you have meta skills. We call it meta skills, metacognition, and meta motivation. Yeah, so metacognition, you have the strategies to improve your learning, to improve your executive functions. And we have meta motivation, which is delayed gratification. Yeah, when you don't go out to have a party because you need to do the thing, this is meta motivation. Meta motivation is when you motivate yourself, it's different from extrinsic and intrinsic. So this is in short. So these are the main principles of Bonsai: is the context, your surroundings, and this is relearning, is the pruning. You are placed, you have to prune, you have to delete everything from your life, from your time, that goes against your main goal and your main purpose in life. That's
I
in
see.
short. But there is more coming, because it's a lot to explain, so I don't really want to take the time. But those who are interested, you can read on the website. We have the
Mm-hmm.
5 pillars of Bonsai, which is fertilizing, watering, wiring, pruning, positioning. And we have Bonsai executive coaching. We work with executives and we teach them how to learn and relearn, because they want to stay up to date. So we don't bring this to the children. It is more for corporates. It's for corporations, for executives, for professionals, and also for people who want to work with professionals, for
I
people
see.
who have been doing coaching and they want to have the coaching qualification in Bonsai coaching, because it's the only one in the world in learning, unlearning, and relearning, which means we have neuroscience there, happiness studies, and future studies. So basically I combined everything. But this metaphor, we talked about metaphors. Bonsai is a metaphor. So this metaphor allowed me to explain difficult concepts like neuroscience, the science of well-being. There is a lot to it, positive psychology included, and future studies, systems thinking, futures literacy, in a way that people can understand and
I see.
apply, most importantly. So that's
That's
the main reason.
wow. That's very interesting. The thinking and the strategy, the things that you really that. I'm sure that I'm going to read what is it from the website you mentioned, and also Nadia again. She mentioned it sounds interesting. Need to dive deeper. We would like to dive this into deeper, but we do not have a lot of time today. Maybe we can have. Especially for bonsai thinking a
Yes,
session, of
yeah,
course, if you accept it, we can arrange what is it, how, what is
webinar
the
maybe.
benefits of
Yes,
it.